Hey everybody, welcome. I'm Sara Wiseman, and today we are working from the Gabriel messages again. Here we go. And we are talking about continuing this idea of thoughts are not things, and kind of like how to get free of the mind forms or the thought forms, and really going against going against all of the belief systems that we in sort of New Age or spiritual world have been taught for many, many, many decades, which is that we have to work with our thoughts. We have to pay attention to our thoughts. We have to, shall we say, reform our thoughts. We have to fix our thoughts because that's where the change will happen. And I want to kind of dispel some of that and look at things from a different perspective. So this one is Worry is a Wasteland. And I just want to read this out because a lot of us have been very anxious and very worried for quite some time. Maybe even the last over 10 years. We've been very worried about the political situation. We've been very worried about the climate. We've been very worried about natural disasters. We've been very worried about financial stuff. We've been very worried about illness. And so all of these have been these violence, all of these have been these kind of global flavors for quite some time. And here's what the guides are saying at this point. Worry is a wasteland. When you spend time ruminating on the past or worrying about the future, or when you spend time in sentimentality, recalling what was or what was not, you are living in a land that does not exist. You are living in thought form, and at this time for humans, thought form is not a place you can live in physical reality. We can do this. This is the guides. For us, it is easy. Many in spirit form can do this, but humans are in a lifetime so that they must live in present moment. So if you are living your life in the now, but with your thoughts elsewhere or your memory or dreams elsewhere, you are not really living where you are now. What's so fascinating to me, because I channeled this quite a bit, or not too long ago, but over a year ago, maybe more. I think I channeled it summer of 2024, possibly spring 2024. I'm not quite sure. Maybe even January 2024. But it's been a while, so I don't always refer to this. And actually the most important thing that I find about this is, but humans are in a lifetime. And that's so phenomenal because that implies that these other beings, these guides, are not living in a lifetime, a segmentation of their awareness as a lifetime. They've moved beyond, like we still have lifetimes, right? This lifetime, that lifetime, and it gives to me that they don't even have lifetimes anymore. They're just consciousness in infinite nature. So that was a little surprise for me there. I didn't expect to find that. But this bigger idea of ruminating on the past or worrying about the future, and a lot of us like to dip into sentimentality. We look at the old photos, every time we have a holiday, we refer to the old traditions, we sort of make our way into that going back, remembering how things were. Every time we pull out, the box of ornaments that we save for year after year, we have this special tradition where we're moving into that sentimental nature of, the times we had before in our lifetime, going back in our mind to that. And what they're saying is like sort of get control of yourself and don't always live in the future, being anxious about what's to come. And also don't always live in the past, being sort of maudlin or sentimental about what was. Obviously, we can't retrieve the past. We can't live there anymore. Obviously, the future isn't here yet. Can't live there yet. And so we are stuck in present moment. And that means that all these thoughts of past and future don't really have any spot in our mind when we're actually in present moment. We just can't maintain thinking about the past and worrying about the future and being in present moment. We have to sort of choose where we're going to put our attention and our awareness. And this idea that the minute you stop worrying about the future, your anxiety just goes from, like 90 to 0. We'll deal with the future when it becomes the now. That's the key. We'll, this old-fashioned saying, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, which has been a saying I've heard my whole life, probably some Midwest kind of pioneer saying, I don't know, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. There's lots of other sayings like that. This idea of like, yeah, there's going to be a bridge of something. There's going to be a challenge. Of course there will be. Of course there's going to be a trouble or a challenge or a difficulty or a wonderful thing. Of course there's something different ahead. The universe is, always changing. Everything is changing in every moment. We don't expect things to be the same. We can't cling to having things never change. Of course, there's going to be changes ahead. And the person we are then, in the future, will deal with whatever that particular challenge or event or experience is. We'll just deal with it then. And so right now, kind of like the only thing we can do is sort of deal with the bridge that we're crossing right now, whatever that is for you. And don't worry about the other things. Don't worry about the future. Don't also worry about the past, all of our regrets. Oh, I wish I hadn't been in that relationship, or oh, I wish I never moved there, or oh, I wish I didn't get fired from that job, or oh, I wish this or that, or so again, in the stance of a lifetime, that is what happened. That is the reality. You were who you were in the past, not the same as the person with the awareness you have now, not the same as the person you're going to be in the future with, I would guess, all probability, much higher awareness. So, have compassion for whatever you did or didn't do in the past, but don't ruminate on it and think you're some kind of loser because you didn't do life perfectly, whatever that means. Like you didn't do it the right way. Like, well, who did? So kind of just letting that go. I want to read another one, similar vein. They're really dealing with, okay, there's two of these. I'm going to actually read them in different order. Gather your mind. The past is not worthy of your focus. Be grateful, but do not live there. You cannot have it back, just as you cannot grasp air in your fist. The future is not worthy of your concern. You already know what is going to happen is what is going to happen. And while you have dreams and desires, so do all the other souls in the universe. You are manifesting or creating as part of the collective, as part of collective soul. So that is what happens. Oh, so that what happens will happen based on the dreams and desires of all beings, based on the dimensional reality you are living in. We say you can put in your request, but be prepared for surprises. So this idea of, well, you have dreams and desires, so do all the other souls in the universe. And they didn't even say in this lifetime, or they didn't even say on earth. They said in the universe. So all of these dreams and desires, all of these thought forms that are out there, and I wouldn't say competing, but this is where reality is collectively being formed, is in all of our thought forms together. I thought it was interesting at the time of this recording, it was one of the No Kings protests, and I was thinking about what that means to have, I think it was 7 million people out in the streets. And then you got to think, for all the people that didn't go out, there's lots and lots more who are at home thinking about the situation or watching people support their beliefs. And so this is an example of many souls creating collective reality. Now, there's lots of souls on planet Earth, so these souls are forming one particular segment of what is desired. There's another contingent or group that's desiring something else, and then in the whole world, for humans, there are other souls with their desires. And then, it's not just about humans. There are other souls, the animal souls, the tree souls, the all sentient being souls who have consciousness just as we do. It's just not expressed in the same language. They have all their consciousness and their desire. We might not call it desire, but they have all their awareness that they want to have expressed. And so the universe has to sort of, and the universe is all of everything, all of us. The universe has to kind of put this in the hopper and shake out whatever it's going to shake out. So we're collectively creating our reality. It's not just you or me desiring, like, this is what I want, I'm going to go get it. Like, we collectively bump our desire collectively bumps up against what others want. And so this idea of worrying about the future or regretting the past, it's really important to sort of clear that from your field so that you can have the most awareness of the now, that you're, instead of sort of dispersing your attention to these other time fields that aren't where you are now, having clear focus, putting your awareness most fully where it really is. And then here's another part that they say, journeying in the now. We clarify, meditation, prayer, these are not rumination or fantasy. These are ways of living in the now and using this now to travel and journey to other destinations in time and space. In this way, you are practicing and participating in the continued evolution of human beings that is happening now. You are practicing and gaining skills in moving through dimensions as we and many other beings can do with ease. This is different than rumination or future fantasy. Consider where your mind is wandering and bring it back and again to what is now, either in the human dimension or in the dimensions that you are learning to travel in. Nowness happens on all levels. You know, when I work with people, one of the main questions, I always ask a few questions at the beginning to understand sort of the traditions they've come from or the belief system they've come from. And one of the questions I always ask is, what's your spiritual practice? And a lot of people will say, my spiritual practice is nature. I like to go out in nature. And I think this is great, but I would also say that going into nature is a way of rebalancing, maybe we might call it your frequency, or rebalancing your emotional or your somatic self. Nature just has this frequency that causes us instantly to relax. It's very, very whole. So that's super valuable. But if you're not actually working with your mind to travel into other dimensions through meditation, through deeper meditation, which is journeying. I don't mean shamanic journeying with substances. I mean just journeying with your own mind, seeing where you can go in the imaginal realms. If you're not really doing this practice of stillness and connecting in at a higher level, I think you're sort of missing this opportunity to experience higher level awareness. And this idea of gathering your mind from the past, gathering your mind from the future, and being fully present, being fully aware of just how things are going in this moment without needing to change them, without needing to pressurize yourself, without having an opinion on whether it's, good or bad, just sort of being here. This is the sort of practice that will begin to be life-changing for you. I'm finding it so interesting because the guides are speaking to us. They're obviously, so the Gabriel messages, these messages are from the guide Gabriel, who has a long history in angelic form. I don't really experience it that way so much. I just receive the words in my ear and I write them down. I don't even have that big a sense of like a presence in the room. I just sort of go into that space, and it just flows in. It's kind of weird. I don't have a plan of what will be discussed. I don't have any idea. I just write it down. But as I look at this collection of teachings, it's all about freeing your mind, following the flow of the universe, letting yourself be guided, letting go of control, working to, and as you let go of control, you have this enormous compassion for others on their path. You realize not everybody's at the same, place on the path, which is fine. Like, why would we be? We all started from different positions, and but what these messages are really teaching is this sort of path to liberation of the mind. Not everybody's interested in that, but if you've made it this far in the podcast, you probably are interested in that. Anyway, I think that's all I have to say today, but please go to the website. What I would suggest is taking one of the courses or classes that I teach directly. Get involved in either self-study. If you go to the the website and go to courses. There's all this courses called, I think, channel messages. That's where you can really dive into this kind of teaching deeply from the start of the first channeling till now. If you really love being in a group, you can go to our group cohort. It's supportive. It's people from all over the world come. And we just kind of work on different aspects of spirituality and intuitive development. Fantastic, fantastic process. So those are available to you. Anyway, I will see you next time. Thank you for being here and have a good rest of your day.